Hello and welcome to Friday Lines. I'm your host, Luke O'Brien, aka OB. Friday Lines is always brought to you by Little Birdie TV and topsport.com.au, punting form and Manscaped, all your essential items for life. Joining me as always is MG for all things AFL. Welcome, MG.
Thanks, OB. How you going?
Good, thank you, mate. And the doyen of rugby league and Irish Open betting, Toprope, but we'll get into that a little bit later. Welcome, Toprope.
What an absolute pleasure to be here with you, OB, and you too, MJ.
AFL, Tom Stewart, 4 weeks probably seems about right for him, I think. Went past the ball, he's handled it really well. Look, I think 4 weeks is about all right. The umps, a little bit of an inconsistent week on your part. I think they've had a pretty good week. The only thing that sort of didn't go to plan was probably when Presti got knocked out, stopping the play, just that feel for the game. Bit of a rule adjustment this week as well with the protected area. Round 15 makes it even harder for the umpires now. Another rule to sort of to bring in. And then the ARC last night coming to Brisbane's defence again. So a bit of an interesting week for the umpires and the AFL.
Yeah, we're a bit more relaxed on the bunkers. We'll call it misjudgment last night, but I tell you what,
it's the ARC. Let's not get too confused with the bunker.
I listened to Toprope too much with the bunker, but tell you what, my man Toprope up there cheering home the over total. We scraped him by half a point last night. He's seen the replay of the decision in the goal square, and I tell you what, it'd be a lot different mood this morning if Riley West had not kicked the goal on the siren to put the total over by half a point. So you got a calmer Toprope and a calmer MG as a result. But that decision last night, not sure what angle to overrule the umpire. They said it's got to be conclusive and stuff like that. It was a double kick. It was lucky Brisbane, I think, were a long way in front and didn't have any impact on the game. But anyway, it's part of the game, as we know, OB, and hopefully they learn from it and move on. And
I couldn't believe last night how many people were picking the Bulldogs, jumping off the back of the Brisbane Lions after one really poor half against Melbourne, and we won't overlook that half against Melbourne at the MCG. But up there, they're an entirely different side, and they looked like they're back to a little bit of their best.
Yeah, I agree with that. They had to make a decision. They had to come back and after the Melbourne one, going back home now, they're 7-0 OB moving forward, and that was the key stat last night. I think going into it that they control their home ground very well, and the Bulldogs played well in patches. They're just too one-dimensional going forward with Norton, so they're very predictable going through. I thought he played okay, but just no support. So I know Bruce is on the way back. He said that earlier this morning, but I think the Bulldogs going to be difficult for them with their run home to make the 8, and I think they're probably going to finish in that 9th or 10th spot. They're just that cog off this year.
And just watch out for Sam Darcy, Luke Darcy's son. Very, very, very good footballer. I think they've got to try and blood some games into him sooner rather than later. So just keep an eye out for him. But it was a great night on the remote control last night. You had AFL, NRL, you had women's cricket that was taking over from the Irish Open. You had the Australian cricketers just going berserk in Gaul. And then not to mention Wimbledon. As we have a quick look at the Wimbledon markets, Djokovic, $1.50, Nadal at $7. I'll call him Alcatraz at $16. And then Nick Kyrgios, 4th favourite at $16. He's a big chance, MG.
I don't know where to start with you, OB. Seriously, you have too much coffee for breakfast in the morning. If that's your cheer for the next week and a half, it won't last long, so don't worry about that. But it's thin on the ground with depth, I guess. Djokovic, I'm not sure why the bookies put him up at about $1.85 at the start of the week. I'd go the other way and try and keep him as short as possible. But anyway, that's what they do with most of these things. And he's into $1.50 now. He's probably only got Nadal to get through for mine. And if you're cheering or backing Kyrgios at $16, then you have got too much money.
And we look at the Wimbledon women's market. Swiatek $2.65, dropped a set last night. First time in a while she's dropped a set. Good luck pronouncing the next name. Jabeur. Then Simona Halep, Coco Gauff, and Ostapenko, and Petra Kvitova there. So
lucky or not, Lucky you're not commentating the tennis, OB. That was pretty ordinary. I tell you what, we used to pick on Scoot reading out some of these names, top row. OB's made a hatchet job of this one as well. He needs Birdie to come back in. But yes, Swiatek at the stop. I know she dropped a set last night, but the qualifier was playing okay, and she was able to get through. And again, it's just a bit thin on the ground. We've lost a few more seeds overnight. And as you can see, there's not too much behind Swiatek. So if she just handles the grass, gets through the early round, she'll be tough to beat. Hullup's probably the one at this stage. She's been a bit underdone, but she's probably the most experienced and obviously a major.
Petra Kitova loves grass as well. Very good left-handed serve, the sliding serve out wide. So she's another one. Anyone got your money there, top rope at Wimbledon this year?
Got a few of the old out wides. Not really a tennis guy. Not really a tennis guy myself, but I've got Fritz and Cressy to make the final in the men's. In the women's, I'm on Kvitova and Shui Zhang. Shui Zhang at big prices. Also, a bit of Ric Flair, but not a big fan of taking odds on or close to in the final. And to be fair to you, OB, there aren't many tougher gigs this side of pronouncing Olympic than women's champions. So I think you've done a stellar job.
I probably should have looked at the run sheet a little bit beforehand. Got a bit of practice in anyway. And also Sunday night, women's netball grand final over there in Perth. The West Coast Fever $1.42, the Melbourne Vixens $2.90, the Lion -4.5, over under 132.5. You can find those odds at topsport.com.au. One of the greatest moves of all time by Netball Australia, selling the grand final rights to Perth. And then the West Coast Fever qualify to host the grand final, and they still get the cash. So Perth is favourite to win their first grand final in 25 years. They've never won a title. First-year coach Dan Ryan, who's an excellent coach, he's done wonders for that franchise, I suppose you can call them. So that'll be an excellent game on Sunday night. A bit of more women's sport as well during the week. The AFLW draft, Montana Ham, pick one going to Sydney. A little bit of insider, a bit of draft tampering, you could say, by Sydney to convince her to go up there. But no, she's a fantastic player. And pick two, Damien Fleming's daughter, Jasmine Fleming, going to the Hawks, 165-centimetre mid, also from Vic Metro. So a good week for women's sport there. But top rope last night, I sort of only watched the last 8.5 minutes of Manly versus the Storm, and I could have dead set thought that it was a bit of touch football out there. I turned it on, it was 36-12, and then by the time it finished, it was 36-30, and a few Sea Eagles' hearts were fluttering at Brookvale. Yeah,
they wouldn't have felt good about it, OB, after they allowed 3 tries in 7 minutes to the Cowboys in their last game to get run down after having a big lead as well. So a bit of a worry. I have no doubt at all that the Storm would have won that game had they have not started Jaden Nikorima for the first game in his first game in 2,000 days. It'll be another 2,000 days before he gets considered again, you would have thought, after that. But plenty on Twitter wanted to tell me what a good news story it was. They obviously didn't have any cash on the Storm, so it was a pretty diabolical kind of first 50 minutes, 60 minutes for the Storm. But Pap got firing, Nikorima went off, and Meany went to the halves, and they look much better at the end. But, big win for Manly. They're on the fringe of the 8, a win they need to have. So, they're off the map as well, Manly. So it was probably a good result for more punters than not.
Fox Sports 5:03, the women's cricket was on. Mariana Kapp was just going berserk. But then next minute, he wanted the Irish Open on, and bang, there it is. Any luck in the Irish Open overnight for you, top rope?
Well, first of all, I don't make unreasonable demands. When they say the Irish Open's going to be on at 10, I expect the Irish Open to be on at 10. And all of a sudden, I turn it on and there's some plonker hitting some other plonker between two plonker countries no one cares about. Let's get to the real stuff. Let's get to the Irish Open. And a bit of luck there last night. OB had Ryan Fox, the most informed golfer in the world, 33-1 first round leader at Mount Juliet, and shot a very early -8, and they couldn't run him down. So well done, top rope.
and the LIV in Portland this week as well, the 54-hole championship over there. Anything doing from your part?
Watching live now, couldn't be better time for the Australian. Watching West Coast 6:15 start in the morning. We've got a 3-way lead at the moment. Dustin Johnson, Tanahara and Grace all on 4 under. So with 4 holes to play. So very interesting, very long course. They've done a very good job with the production this time. So certainly a bit more compelling than the PGA Tour's John Deere Classic this week. So looking good.
And now we get straight into an MG. It's time for Friday Lines, brought to you by topsport.com.au. Family owned and operated for 35 years. Bet with a bookie you can trust. Bet with topsport.com.au. And it's an absolute cracker to kick off the round tonight. It's Carlton versus St Kilda, $7.50 at Marvel. The Blues $1.62, the Saints $2.35, the line -7.5, over under 162.5. The Saints have rung the changes, a little bit of off-field unrest, a little bit of Clarkson hovering in the background over Ratton. If the Saints can do anything, I reckon tonight's the night. I think these odds are too far in the Carlton's favour. I'm giving the Saints a hope here.
You love it. You love a team in turmoil to turn it around, OB. I've noticed that for you this year. Ryder and Hill, they were dropped last week for whether they were causing an incident or involved in one, but it just shows in Kilda that their reliance on, or the combination they need between Marshall and Ryder going up against the top 8 sides is too much for them if they don't have both. So they get Ryder back in to join Marshall and Hill back. Carlton get Chera. So both teams are pretty much full pelt on the depth charts. Just different form lines for me here. Carlton have won 6 out of the last 8, going very well. St Kilda have now lost 3 in a row. We saw this with Melbourne a couple of weeks ago or a month ago when they lost 3 in a row and were able to pick themselves up. So this is a big test for St Kilda, and more or less their seasons. This is it. If they lose tonight, I think they miss the finals. There is money for St Kilda. The line opened at -9 down to 7.5. I'm just sitting and waiting at the moment. I like Carlton here. I just think packed house. Toprope will be happy to see. I know OB, they're ringing you for tickets, and you can't get any more people into the Dome tonight. So Toprope will be watching a very excited crowd. But I think the Blue Army is up and about, and I'm happy to take Carlton at the -7.5, and I'm also keen on the under. St Kilda, only way to win this game is they need to shut it down. 164.5 down to 162.5. I think there's still some meat on the bone there. So Carlton and under.
Beautiful. And another great game tonight in the NRL, the 7:55 game at Penrith Stadium. It's Penrith $1.14 against the Sydney Roosters $6. The line -16, over under 40 flat. Looks a reasonable game on paper with the names out there, but it's first, ninth. Penrith absolutely on fire, and the Roosters just sort of spluttering along. What's doing this one, Toprope?
Yeah, probably shows you kind of the gap Penrith and the Roosters at the Storm have put on the rest of the competition here. Roosters kind of were at top 4 bet early in the season. Just fringe out. They haven't really been living up to it. The back line's in a bit of strife with Luke Keary out with a concussion again. Hard to look past Penrith here. They've covered 23 of 33 at home, covered 11 of 14 when a double-digit favourite at home. Roosters covered just 5 of 15 as an underdog. Yeah, Penrith really lift for these ones. They've scored 29 or more in 3 of the last 4 against the Roosters. Yeah, minus has gone from 14.5 to 16. I expect it'll go a bit even bigger by kickoff. So I'll be back in the Panthers minus in this one. I think they'll probably do a number on the Roosters, whose biggest concern has probably been some defensive deficiencies, and that's really shown on their kind of left edge defence. So I'll be looking at the Liam Martin, Stephen Crichton, Brian to score some tries tonight.
As we look at the second match for AFL punters out there, it's Gold Coast against Collingwood, 7:25 on Saturday night. Gold Coast $1.74, Collingwood $2.14, the line -5.5, over under 139.5. This could break the Metricon AFL attendance record. There's 20,000 tickets already pre-sold for this blockbuster on the Gold Coast. Collingwood fans travel everywhere, and this looks a beauty on paper. No how for the Pies, but to go back in, this looks a ripper.
Yeah, I like this contest. You're right. Another big crowd. Toprope will be happy to hear that. The AFL up and about, getting the crowds back to the footy. I actually like Collingwood in this game. All the money's been for Gold Coast. Open 1.5, and now it's to 5.5. So very strong push for the home team here, Gold Coast. Both in good form. Gold Coast have won 5 out of the last 7. Collingwood have won 5 straight, so can't pot either side. I just like Collingwood's form line. Within those 5 wins, they've beaten Freo, Carlton and Melbourne, top 4 sides. So I think they're going as good as any other team. I know they lose how they get back to go, as you said. They generally travel well, Collingwood, and as you said, it'll feel just as much as a home game for Collingwood. I'm happy to take Collingwood the plus 5.5. The weather's the interesting one here. Forecast is not good. Bookies open 150.5. It's moved 11 points to the under, down to 139.5. So would have thought this would have been a scoring game, but with the weather, I think it'll suit Collingwood. They don't mind the wet. They're set up well to do it with their smaller forward lines. Elliott and that play well. Myercheck plays well in the wet as well. So pretty keen on Collingwood. I know I'm against the market here, but plus 5.5 and looking to play the margins 1-24, 1-39 as well.
In a big battle of the remote control, Saturday night, South versus Parramatta. 7:35 is the start time there. The Rabbitohs 2.45, the Parramatta Eels $1.57, the line 4.5, over under 41.5. Top rope 7th versus 6th on the ladder. Parramatta started the year like a house on fire, and the Rabbitohs just sort of probably haven't got anything going yet, but the big Trell's back at fullback. Which way do you see this one going?
Battle of the remote control. This is like Hulk Hogan against the Brooklyn Brawler. If this is a battle of the remote control, please. Only one thing to watch on Saturday night, and this is South and Para. Big Latrell, like you said, on the return. Absolutely love the bunnies in this one. Close to the bet of the week. Getting the plus 4.5 here. They've got a great record against Para. They've scored 38 plus in their last 4 wins. All have been by 14 or more. Covered 10-14 at Acor. Eels covered just 4-12 as a favourite. A big Latrell, he's the tide that lifts all boats. Expect a much better performance out of Cody Walker. Absolutely, really expecting Latrell to be fit and firing from the get-go. So love your bunnies this week, OB.
Oh, that's music to my ears. Music to my ears. It's great to see Trell back. Just on a side note, is Trell a chance for Origin 3?
Big chance. I have no idea how they do not pick him if he gets through tonight's game. Trying to read Brad Fittler's mind is a dangerous game, but it has to be in if he's available.
As we look at the Sunday match, teams still aren't finalised, but GWS Giants $1.49, Hawthorn $2.70 up there at Giants Stadium. This one is the line minus 11.5, over under 141.5. Wingard still hasn't come up for the Hawks, but Will Day and Jack Gunston are both back in. A little bit of weather around on Sunday. Mitch Lewis was in great form last week, and Toby Green, you can't ever discount him. This probably could be a bit closer than a few think.
I thought you were off your Hawks, OB.
I'm back.
You sure? All right. Surprise, surprise. More rain in New South Wales, we'll call it, and Sydney if they don't want to count this. Absolute bucketing down, apparently. The weather watch on this game, the bookies put up 153.5. Far too high. It's dropped 12 points at this stage down to 141.5. Could continue to see falls in that game. If the weather holds true, there's plenty of rain around. I'm actually keen on the Giants here. I know the form line for both sides doesn't read well. They're both 4-10 on the season, so on paper it doesn't look a great game to get involved in. I just think GWS are going slightly better in their last couple of losses, playing against the Bulldogs and Collingwood, where I just think Hawthorn have lost 8 of their last 9. I just think the towel's not thrown in, but I just think they're struggling. They kind of come out, put an effort in for a quarter and a half, and then they just seem to be disinterested or out of gas, one of the two. So pretty keen on the Giants here, minus 11.5. The market's dead set solid, so there's been no real movement in this game other than the total. Wet weather's a bit of a worry. I think the Hawks generally play better in the wet, so that does bring them in. But minus 11.5 the Giants for me.
And the Sunday game, St George-Illawarra versus the Canberra Raiders at Wynn Stadium. St George $2.15, the Canberra Raiders $1.70, the line 2 even, and the over-under 38 flat. 8th versus 11th, both teams on 7 wins. Oh, you could flip a coin in this one, Toprope.
Yeah, not going to have a recommended bet in this game just because this line is very much prices have been very much dictated by the availability of Dragons half Ben Hunt, who is in some doubt. Dragons have been big drifters, have gone from slight favourites to +2, so it suggests he's probably not going to play. Look, if he shows up, I like the Dragons here. They've covered 6 or 7 in the day, 6 or 7 in the gong, 10 or 14 when $2 or shorter. But look, it seems like they're drifting, so going to let this one go at the moment. Those after a bit of Ric Flair, though, I will be backing Hudson Young to score a try around the $4.80 mark. He's got a great try scoring record for an edge back rower. Comes with the winning try against the Knights. There's a good matchup for him on that left edge there, so we'll be looking for him to score at $4.80.
And I read a stat during the week that Tarek Sims has not passed the ball this year.
Amazing. So, look, Craig Bellamy is renowned for running a very simple game plan. It seems like a very simple game plan is exactly what Tariq Sims can do, put it under the arm and run. So, look, to anyone who's seen Tariq Sims' game, I'm going to call that a positive result. He's only passed the ball 3 times.
So we'll run through the final 5 games of the AFL. We'll start with the early game on Saturday. Essendon 3-10 against the Sydney Swans, $1.38. The line 15.5 over under 170.5. Luke Parker's 250th. I think he might have a little target on his back in this one.
Yeah, the money's all for Essendon in this game. I'm not sure where it's coming from. The line opened 20.5 down. It's moved 5 points down to 15.5 to Essendon. So the game being at the MCG, I couldn't entertain Essendon at this stage. I just think they're completely shot. Lost 8 of their last 10, coming off a loss to West Coast last week. I just think they're pretty much done, Essendon. They'll be looking forward to 2023. Sydney, too much on the line here. They can't afford to drop these games if they're going to play finals. So I think Sydney just probably wait until game time. I think seems if the betting trend's going down to get the best price Sydney. But yeah, Sydney here for me.
Adelaide versus Melbourne at the Adelaide Oval. Luke Jackson in some doubt with a knee injury there. The Crows $5. The Demons $1.18. The line is 30.5 over under 161.5. Looks all one-way traffic.
Yeah, well, the betting's been for Adelaide actually here again. The outsider 35 line open down to 30.5. Playing at home. They did put some offense up last week, but they were playing the Kangaroos, who are not the best side going around. Stepping up against Melbourne, I just think they'll struggle to offense against a Melbourne defence, and 30's getting probably to value, but again, you can wait late to bet in this game. I think if you like Melbourne, if you like Adelaide, you'd probably you either miss the boat or you need to get on now.
Speaking of one-way traffic, Geelong versus North Melbourne. The Cats $1.01, a little bit of a multi-top of that one. North Melbourne $23. The line 66.5. The over/under 159.5. Anything doing?
Yeah, this is a bit of top rope special wheelhouse here for a bit of Ric Flair on a 60 to 66.5 line. This has got 100 points written all over it. Good weather down at Geelong. I know it's at night, but the top rope loves backing against the Kangaroos. He just thinks it's a fill-up, a bit like back in the Storm double against the Kangaroos. So, yeah, Geelong can put any kind of score on here. What mood they're in will dictate how big this margin is.
Richmond versus West Coast is the early Sunday game at the MCG. The Tigers $1.09, West Coast $7.75. The line minus 42.5, over under 172.5. No Josh Kennedy for the Eagles. He's been managed after kicking 5 goals. Looks one-way traffic again.
I'd want to be managed if I was Kennedy playing against Richmond coming over at the MCG as well. Good little holiday to stay over there for him. Surprised he actually couldn't get the tip out quick enough on Richmond when they posted 30.5. Way too cheap. I just don't know how they kind of came at that number at the MCG. I know West Coast got a win over Essendon last week at home, but this line's moved from 30.5 to 42.5. It's one way. It's not turning around either, so wouldn't surprise me if it got up to around 45 by game time. And again, a bit like the Geelong game, what mood Richmond are in, they could put up a big number here.
And the final game for round 16 looks a beauty. Fremantle $1.46, Port Adelaide $2.75. The line minus 13.5, over under 152.5. Some good ins in that game. That looks a good one.
Yeah. Agree here. Again, the bookies put up plus 20.5 on Port Adelaide at the start of the week. Look very attractive to me in what I think is going to be a low-scoring game. So this is my probably one of my most active games for the week, actually, here, OB. I really like the plus. We sent that out early as well. It's 20.5 down to 13.5, so we got our chips in at a good price, I think. And also the under total, 161.5 was too high for me. I thought it should have been way closer to about $1.50. It's down to 152.5 at the moment, and I think it's tracking one way. So I think this will be a close, contested game of football. I don't think points will be at a premium. So, yeah, happy to be on the plus and the under in this game.
As we look to the rest of the NRL round 16 action, Knights and the Titans are the early one tonight. The Knights $1.84, the Titans $2, the line minus 1.5, over under 39.5. Both teams desperate for a win here, Toprope.
Yeah, absolutely low game. One for the Desperados, so obviously it's me right. Yeah, look, it's surprising the AFL didn't put one against this one. Some people might have watched, would have been nice for them. No Callum Ponga for the Knights. I've no idea who their favourites in this one. I know the Titans are running last, but they've got a much better team. They've won 7 of 11 against the Knights. You can't have a lot of confidence in Gold Coast, but I'll be backing them as a small underdog.
And the Bulldogs and the Sharks is the next one we'll look at. The Bulldogs $3.10, the Sharks $1.38, the line 8.5 over under 40.5. Anything to take your fancy there?
Yeah, big story out of this one. Taking my 5-year-old to his first Bulldogs game, so hoping to get a win. He's very, very excited. So good game to pick. I think the Dogs are a chance. I'd be leaning towards a plus 8.5, particularly with the weather. First initial thoughts were this has overwritten all over it under the new Bulldogs side. They've averaged 26.4 under Mick Potter, but unfortunately Potter has COVID. And it looks like there's going to be a fair bit of weather around. It's probably just laying off that at the moment. And we'll just take the Dogs plus 8.5, but I reckon they can win, and I reckon there's a bit of Ric Flair in the 13 plus here too. So Dogs big chance. Sharks paddling at the moment.
And Adam Reynolds is back for the Broncos as they take on the North Queensland Cowboys. The Cowboys $1.48, Brisbane $2.70, the line minus 6.5, over under 40.5. I think the Broncos look pretty good value there, Toprope.
Yeah, I've heard the term sellout a few times when we're talking about the AFL. Just would like to note this one's also a sellout and been sold out for a few weeks.
It's a miracle.
Cowboys and Broncos. With you, OB. I think the Broncos are great value. They've covered 4 straight road games, covered 11 of 13 as an underdog. I'll be backing them with a 6.5. I think they can win this one off the stick.
And the Warriors return to Mount Smart Stadium against the West Tigers. The Warriors $1.45, West Tigers $2.77. The line minus 5.5, over under 42.5. Great to see the Warriors back at home, Toprope.
Yeah, back at home, and what do you know, another sellout here, OB and MG. So 2 on the trot there. So big week in the NRL crowds. There is no bigger trap game. I can't think of a bigger trap game in the history of the NRL than the Warriors this week. Holy moly, how they're this short. I will never understand that. This short, thinking emotion's going to carry them. The Tigers are rubbish, but so are the Warriors. They've covered just 1 of 5 as a favourite of more than the converted try, 2 of 8 as a favourite. 4 of 19 after conceding 20 plus. I will be all over the Tigers in this one. You're taking them on trust, but I'm happy to take one trusted at 260 and let the Warriors go at the short price. Absolutely ridiculous betting in this one.
And a reminder, punters can locate the GGOA for $22 a week in the littlebirdie.live shop for all your NRL betting action. And the AFL Stings also located in the littlebirdie.live shop for $22 a week also. Toprope, have a great weekend. I hope your young fella enjoys the Bulldogs game for the first time. Plenty of sport on the box. Looking forward to catching up with you again next week.
Yeah, cannot wait. It'll be one of the highlights of the week during Friday lunch. No doubt about that. Good luck on the weekend, though.
And to MG, great to see you again live in the studio. Thank you for your betting action for this week. Any specials on the weekend?
No, I think we've tipped a few. It looks like a high betting week for the AFL. So check out the Stings, and we'll have a few more plays over the weekend.
That's a wrap for this week's Friday Lines. Thanks to MG and Toprope. You can follow us on YouTube, find us in the Apple Store, on Spotify, on SoundCloud, wherever you listen to your podcasts. Follow at Little Birdie TV on Twitter and Instagram. Remember, all your footy betting action can be found at topsport.com.au. I'll be back next Friday. Don't forget to join Nikki on Monday for the first look with all the weekend's action in review. Punt well, punt responsibly, and have a great weekend, punters.